Hello, I'm Harry Harding, and welcome to my new online series. These are troubling and uncertain times for actors, and indeed for the theatre industry. So I thought, whilst we're all locked down, I would keep in touch with my fellow creatives by talking about our favourite subject: ourselves. In this series, I'll be interviewing fellow actors and creatives on everything from their favourite roles to dream castings to funny backstage mishaps and more. But before we proceed, please don't swear and please don't say Macbeth. Oh, hang on a minute. Cue the titles. My guest this episode is actor, director, producer Niamh Handley-Vaughan. Niamh trained at Bath Spa University, gaining a BA Honours degree in Performing Arts. She has been working in the industry for the past 6 years, including work with Squint Opera, an advert campaign with Macmillan, as well as various fringe productions and short films. She has also appeared in 2 Shakespeare productions with drama impact. In 2018, she played Hermia in A Midsummer Night's Dream. And in 2019, she played Hero in Much Ado About Nothing. She will soon be returning to the rehearsal room as Mina Harker in Immersive Dracula. Niamh is also a director and choreographer. Her short film directorial debut was shortlisted for the Nespresso Talents Competition and screened at BAFTA. She has also directed a comedy web series for YouTube called Brunching Britain. Niamh, welcome to the show. Please don't swear and please don't say Macbeth.
Okay.
Excellent.
Hi.
So it's lovely to see you. How are you? How are you coping in lockdown?
Yeah, doing okay actually. Trying to find like a semblance of routine. So I do like my yoga every day because I'm a millennial. And my little brother is here and he's only 5, so like he takes up a lot of my time. He's a good distraction. And then like trying to be productive, but normally just watch films. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm okay.
Good. You're safe and well.
Yes, that's importantly I am. Yeah.
Excellent. So I just want to start by talking a bit about your training. So you attained a BA Honours degree at Bath Spa University. Do you have a standout memory from your time there?
I think I was really lucky with my training because like a lot of people can be a bit snobby about going to drama school as opposed to university, but I wouldn't change my training at all. Like I was so lucky. The course leader was amazing. All the teachers were amazing. My classmates were amazing because in that environment, you learn off each other as much as you learn from a teacher or from, anything else. I think there was a lot of contact hours, and I think it just really taught me more than anything else. Like obviously it taught me like tools to like go into acting, but it taught me like how to be a better person and like how to just be silly and not take yourself too seriously and have a bit of a thicker skin. And so it's not like a specific memory, but that I will always take with me from my training.
That is an excellent answer. And you've touched upon a point there that I did consider asking you about, because, like you, I trained at university, and I certainly experienced at the time. I'm not going to say how long ago it was. There was a sort of stigma about that. Do you feel that that stigma is starting to lift? That the comparison, the
Yeah.
negative sort of view of not training at drama school is starting to ease a bit.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think when I went to university, it was still a bit more of a, oh, you're only doing that because you couldn't get into drama school.
Yes.
But actually now I think different kinds of training has been a real spotlight on drama schools recently as well, like about the quality or the professionalism. And I actually,
Indeed.
funnily enough, was talking to a casting director yesterday, and
Yeah.
she said that she thinks that it's completely changing now, and it used to be such a filter that you had to go to drama school to even be seen. And she says actually she's noticed that shift herself as well. So I think obviously some universities have different reputations just as drama schools do, but I think actually it's what tools they give you to actually succeed. Because a lot of people I know who went to drama school, they graduated and didn't have a clue what to do.
Yes.
Whereas in my course, I think a lot of universities, they give you the tools to like make your own work and be productive, and don't just assume that once you graduate, everything's going to be okay.
I agree, and I think that's a good point. I think you come out of university knowing that you are going to have to work not only to achieve your goals, but to prove yourself,
Yeah.
as a legitimate professional. Whereas people coming out of drama school perhaps somewhat naively assume that they're just going to immediately get an agent.
And they're just not given the same tools to like actually go the extra step and make their own work, or like put themselves in line a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or not all the time, but from people I've spoken to have said that.
Yeah. No, I agree also about what you said about the experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. I loved it. I mean, drama school that wasn't for me. I wanted the university lifestyle. I got the best of both worlds, I think. So I got the training and the experience of living, and training at a university for 3 years. That was a really excellent answer, actually. I'm really glad you touched on that. Also, another thing on that as well is that you're also, you're living proof that actually a university education is just as effective, because you have had a very successful 6-year career so far in the profession.
Reasonably, yeah. I think a lot of that also comes down to, well, but it's been totally who you know, and I think that's something else that my training taught me, is that it's about going to network, which I find so uncomfortable, but like going to networking things.
Yeah.
Honestly, just making friends with people. Like in the last few years, most of my jobs have been through people I know and people who worked with me before, and it's so who you know. It's that cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason.
Yeah.
But don't alienate anyone, because you don't know who they're going to be working for, like sometime down the road, or if they want to work for you again.
Or when your friend asks you to come on his YouTube series for an interview, you say yes.
You say yes.
So, in your career so far, of all the characters that you have played, who would you say was your favourite and why?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
The thing is with my casting is it's very easy when I'm being cast in something to put me in a very specific role. So in Shakespeare, it's always like the sweet heroine, or it's usually like the girlfriend, or it's usually like just because of my voice and everything, it's just easy to put me in this sort of ingenue character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's exciting now, and some of the roles I'm starting to play a bit more recently, is I've given myself a bit of permission to work outside that. So we're doing Dracula at the moment, right? And I'm playing Mina Harker, and she in the book is quite, I mean, she's of a certain time, she's of the Victorian time, but for that time in history, she's quite a feminist. And being able to take what you want from that and actually put that in a modern day perspective as well, and sort of keep, you know, some of the Victorian aspects to her, of course, because we're still setting it in that, but taking a few more chances on the character as well is quite exciting to me, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that more, because I think I've been standing in my own way too, in terms of like, well, I'm like this, so I can only do these roles, and actually I'm sort of come to terms with the fact that I don't, like, it's actually sometimes more interesting if you had like a murderer played by someone like me. I think that would be a bit creepier or like scarier or more interesting, maybe. So not that Mina Harker's a murderer, but it's just like a sort of process of like, oh, what other roles can I play that are not exactly my casting?
Yeah, against type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that brings me nicely on to my next question, which is about immersive Dracula. So you're not only playing the leading role of Mina Harker, you're also the producer. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about the creation of this project. I mean, how did it come about? What's the story there?
Well, I was in a show called Much Ado About Nothing with really amazing people. We were driving back from the Cambridge show, and we'd just done, I think we were just about to do the show at St Walden's-Bury.
Oh, that's
and I just remember thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to do Much Ado About Nothing like as a proper promenade performance, or like an immersive performance where people can like follow characters in this beautiful place. And then we were driving back from the Cambridge venue, and I just was talking to Nick about, he was another person in the cast, about how much I'd love to do more immersive theatre, and he said, oh, he had an idea years ago for an immersive production of Dracula. And he started talking to me about it, and I was like, I want to do that. I really want to do that. And then, like, I think that night I text Ollie, and I think the next day I spoke to you, and I was then came to Nick and was like, oh, we're doing that. We're going to do that. And he was like, what? So no, we're going to do that. And he was like, okay, sure.
So is it fair to say that you were very much the driving force in sort of kicking everyone up the backside in beginning it?
At the beginning, maybe, yeah. I think I'm quite good at getting ideas off the ground. I think since then, all three of the producers, Nick, Ollie, and myself, have done more. Like, definitely, everyone's had a fair share of the work. Like, they worked so hard on it. But I think it was one of those things where they thought, oh yeah, friends have an idea to do stuff all the time. It won't happen. And I was like, no, I want it to happen. So it's happening.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, I was, pleasantly surprised that it was actually going ahead. The fact that you did make it happen, and it did happen, and is still happening, is very impressive.
Yeah, fingers crossed it. Yeah, it will still happen. All right, if not before this year, then definitely next year. Hopefully this year, but we'll see what happens with COVID. But yeah, Indeed. It will happen.
So, as well as an extensive acting career, you're also an experienced director of both the stage and the screen, including a production of If Nothing Happens with Get Over It Productions. Now, so are there plans to revive that show again in the future? I'm to understand.
Yeah, so originally, before all the corona stuff kicked off, we were gonna, the producers of the theatre company emailed me and was like, we'd like to do it again. Would you be up for doing it in maybe September, October? And I was like, yes, definitely. So, and then once all COVID kicked off, she was like, maybe towards the end of the year, but it should still happen, because I think she wants to, because she's also the artistic director of the Bread and Roses, so she would be doing it best, but she needs to like backlog all the bookings for theatres that she had before. But yeah, we will be doing a full run of it again, I think, hopefully, if that still goes on, because originally we've done it 3 times before, but that's only been for like maximum of like 3 nights. So it'd be nice to do like a proper run of it, let the characters really get into it, because I think a lot of the time, with those shorter runs, by the time you're into it, it's done and it's like you can't really give the production much time to
Absolutely.
breathe, find its feet. So that would be nice to like actually have a proper run.
So, as an actor director, would you say that you prefer one to the other? And if so, why?
It's so interesting because for such a long time, I didn't really do a lot of acting, and I really threw myself into directing. And I think it was because it was newer and it was like more exciting. There was so much to learn. And then I got to a point where I was like, God, I miss acting.
Yes.
And that's when I I think a couple of years ago, and then I did a Midsummer Night's Dream, and it was my first show back into like proper acting that wasn't just like a short film here or there. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I think if I had to choose one now, it would be acting, but that doesn't dismiss how I feel about directing. I think it's a completely different art form. And I think, to be honest, one has helped the other instrumentally. I think I'm a much better actor for having worked so much as a director, and I hope I'm a much better director for understanding acting as well. I think people would probably say I'm an actor's director because I love character work and all that stuff. So, and I think that's something that actors enjoy in the rehearsal process. They enjoy the character work and the development. That's the fun bit, right? So yeah, I hope it's helped.
Absolutely. Speaking of acting, is there a dream role that you've always wanted to play, either on stage or on screen? And if so, who is that?
So interesting. I've been asked this a lot lately, and I'll give the answer that I've given before. There's so many roles that I would love to play, but I think in terms of like the perfect role, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about my stereotypical casting and wanting to play outside that, because I think maybe my perfect role hasn't been written yet. It's just waiting for me to find it. So I think maybe something out there that's got my name on it that I'm looking forward to playing in the future.
I like that. Yeah, that's the first time we've had that response on Don't Say Macbeth. There you go, unique. So, finally, are there any projects in the future that you would like to talk about or discuss, or perhaps just speculate over as to their situation?
Well, Immersive Dracula hopefully will be coming back. We had to stop a week before we opened. That was a bit heartbreaking. So hopefully that will be coming back again. If not this year, then early next year. And that will be. And the venue is really supportive. It is Hinton Metalworks. It really depends what's going on with the social distancing after COVID. I'm wondering how theatre will change or have to change or what's going to happen to theatre now, because they're talking about maybe opening like 50-seater theatres, but like West End theatres, I don't think they'll be able to open this year at all. And it's a really strange time. Either way, I think theatre's going to change, but I hope that we all keep up with it and sort of don't let that frighten us away from doing stuff, and we just go with the change.
Yeah, I agree. Well said as well. Well, yeah, hopefully things will get back to normal, whatever that may be. But thank you very much, Niamh, for your time and your stories. You've been a lovely guest. Have a lovely day. Take care. All the best.
Thank you. Take care. Mwah.
If you would like to be a guest on my show, send me a private message on Facebook or Instagram. Or if you're lucky enough to have my telephone number, you can send me a WhatsApp message.